Before we start the video, I'm going to VidCon this year in Anaheim, California. I won't have a booth, I'll just be walking around. I'm going to be handing out free channel t-shirts too, so if you find yourself in the area, come say hi. I know it's way too early to be announcing this, but with how irregular my upload schedule is, better early than never. Alright, on with the video. What's up gamers, welcome back to another episode of Video Game Gems.
Yep, we're finally talking about Fortnite.
Great, a publicity stunt.
Yeah, why are we doing this? Your channel's dope.
He knows that, but he's broke.
I hate Fortnite. Longtime fans of my channel can vouch for me, but is my hatred justified? In this episode, I'm analyzing the pros and cons of Fortnite to see if the game really isn't worth your time, or if it's a worthwhile gem that deserves the popularity it has earned. Fortnite is a free-to-play cross-platformer that is ever evolving with new mechanics and modes, such as Tap Tap Revolution, Racing, Survival, and more.
Hey look, you got fan mail.
I don't have fans.
Well then, do you know any shitty characters?
Give me that. Dear Slinge, I wrote you but you still ain't calling. I sent you a couple collab ideas back in autumn, you must not have got them. Dude, this was written 6 months ago.
And all I wanted was a lousy letter of a call.
However, Fortnite's claim to fame is its Battle Royale mode. Players descend on a small island, collecting weapons and other artillery to protect themselves from the opposing teams, while an electrical storm pushes them closer together until one team is victorious. Fortnite's build mechanic is unique, allowing players to forge creative paths by building structures, getting to higher areas, outwitting other players, or setting up defenses. The sky's the limit. If you learn how to use it efficiently, you can find yourself in some pretty fun situations. On the flip side, people who refuse to learn the mechanic see structures as a way for players to shield themselves, effectively making them harder to kill. So a no build mode was added, allowing players to enjoy the fun of wiping out enemies without jumping through hoops.
Time to head to Spawn Island. Slinge, put the pig away.
It's not a pig.
Yeah, it's an aardvark, right?
No, I thought it was a bear. Everybody shut up. Man, you all look like you never seen a white kitty before.
Now, if this was all there was to Fortnite, the game would have fell out of style years ago, but as I stated earlier, the game is perpetually evolving. Fortnite uses its popularity to collaborate with other franchises to advertise cameo characters, and since Fortnite never tries to appeal to one specific demographic, franchises from every genre have made an appearance. Marvel, Futurama, Dragon Ball, Godzilla, Eminem, Football, Metal Gear, Uncharted, Naruto, God of War, Vocaloid, Gears of War, Nerf, John Wick, Borderlands, DC, Star Wars, Halo, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, Tron, Basketball, Rick and Morty, Ferrari, Street Fighter, Rocket League, the list goes on.
Let's land somewhere with good loot so we'll get ahead early on.
Slinge fell out of the battle bus.
Are you kidding me?
His palms were sweaty.
Most characters are introduced between seasons with relative mechanics. I was told when Spider-Man was added, players were able to shoot webs that propelled them forward. When Snake was added, players could hide in boxes and turn invisible. And now, in the Godzilla era, players can turn into a giant dinosaur.
That thing has been after us for 3 rounds. Why does Godzilla hate you?
I peed on it.
The map is also updated every once in a while with new places and mechanics of its own. Vaults were hidden in one iteration of the map that allowed players to upgrade their weapons, while another iteration introduced Greek gods that took over different sections of the map, giving players abilities and goodies depending on location.
We lost again. This is what I get for playing with a bunch of girls.
Hey!
Now that we've covered the core game mode, what are the other modes like? Festival is a rock band clone where players press buttons in tune to various songs. I have to praise Fortnite for the variety of songs it provides. The list contains music from the 1970s onward, so instead of forcing me to listen to your favorite songs, I can actually play good music.
Slingy man, no, don't massacre the fans.
In multiplayer mode, each band member chooses a song. Fair is fair. Players can pick from a list of free songs that cycle out daily, or queue up songs they've purchased.
Ganon took her away, now the children don't play, but they will when Link saves the day. Hallelujah!
Players can jam out to 4 songs per festival, choosing their instruments and difficulty between intermissions. Also, depending on the instrument, players can emote in between parts. Seriously, you guys have not lived until you've seen Doomslayer do a stupid Fortnite dance while rocking out to Buddy Holly. I wish I was recording that day.
Hey, how's he doing?
He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out.
Rocket Race is one of the few modes I can praise. The game takes inspiration from other popular titles with its own unique spin. My fascination with Rocket Race comes from its strategic gameplay. Like most racers, you can charge up boost by drifting around corners, but unlike other games, drifting actually slows you down. You can't rely on boost and drifting alone. The mode does away with items, shifting focus to the tracks themselves. While standard paths are full of roads that are up and down and all around, the game encourages players to search for shortcuts that aren't easily spotted your first time around the track.
I'll give you Hello Kitty if you win.
No thanks. Yeah, she's cute, but I think she's married to Slinge. Hee hee.
LEGO Fortnite is a survival game with a focus on adventure. You collect materials, build machines, and upgrade your equipment to survive like any other title in the genre. However, LEGO Fortnite encourages the player to keep moving and never stay in one place. Mechanics such as fast travel and map markers were added to make progressing the world easier. I haven't played enough to know if there's an objective to work toward in the core game, but from what I've gathered from the opening cinematic, new adventures are added periodically to keep players invested.
Manual labor and a boss fight? Count me out, I'm not doing this.
But Slinge, what if you win? Wouldn't it be weird?
There are a few other small modes in Fortnite, and I'm sure the list will keep growing as time goes on. Fortnite also allows fans to make their own modes and share them with other players. I think it's funny that players can add proximity chat to their games, but Epic won't add it to any of theirs.
There's no denying that my weenie's much bigger than yours is.
Revive us already!
With an endless number of game modes and ever-changing mechanics, Fortnite must be a gym, right? Absolutely not. Fortnite's downsides more than outweigh its positives, and those downsides are why I hate the game. My disgust has to do with freemium games as a whole, offering a free game that charges you for the endgame assets, ultimately coaxing you into spending an unreasonable amount of money on a product that isn't worth a fraction of the cost. And Fortnite is by far the worst.
I know I'm lucky because I got more fame than I deserve, and that's the message that I try to give to little kids. You can be famous and never know what talent is.
Back in the day, you paid $60 for a game and all its content, some of which were unlockable through side quests or other challenges, but it was free. Unlocking content felt like an accomplishment, and the euphoria was a badge of honor. A freemium game puts a price tag on everything you don't need to experience the core game. As such, it gets away with poor graphics, dull gameplay, horrible narrative, a plethora of glitches, and nothing to work toward, under the argument that it doesn't force you to pay for anything. And by the time you've figured this out, you've wasted hundreds or thousands of dollars on a single product. You feel trapped, like you're obligated to play this one game for the rest of your life because you know in your heart that you'll never get your money's worth.
I spent $6,000 on a lifetime of memories.
And I spent $6,000 on 400 characters that do the exact same thing. I still haven't won a game.
And then there are the battle passes. Every season a new one releases that offers exclusive content for a limited time. If you miss out, they will never be available again. But you don't get them right away. Oh no, you have to unlock them with experience by playing the game. Well, now you've wasted money on a battle pass, and if you don't finish it, you don't get to keep everything you've paid for. So to justify the purchase, you have to waste all of your time chipping away at it, and the worse you are at the game, the longer it takes.
I only have half an hour to finish the battle pass before season 2. How does it feel? Is it fantastic? Is it grand?
Congratulations! You paid to keep playing. And the more time you spend playing, the more likely you are to mosey over to the store and waste even more money, perpetuating a cycle of wasting an unreasonable amount of time and money on one stupid game. As far as the freemium genre goes, why is Fortnite the cream of the crop, or lack thereof? Unlike most freemium games, Fortnite is actually fun. I won't deny that every game mode is enjoyable in its own way, but Fortnite didn't become a popularity juggernaut by being fun. Fortnite's popularity stems from ripping off other games and franchises.
Check this out.
I'll take that.
The game initially grew a fan base thanks to influencers and gameplay that redefined Battle Royale. And once the game had a strong community and the money began rolling in, Epic Games invested in cameo characters to draw in a bigger audience, and it worked. Guys, I kid you not, there was a time when parents were paying players to teach their kids how to improve in Fortnite. Yeah, I want history to remember that. And now the game includes so many assorted characters across media history, Fortnite has become a joke, a meme of a game. In no other game will you find Kratos, the god of war, who literally fought his way through hell, dancing to Say So by Doja Cat on a stage at a concert right next to SpongeBob, Bender, and God freaking Zilla.
My life is like a video game, trying hard to beat the stage, all while I am still collecting coins.
Even Fortnite's lore is laughable. Here's a taste. This is Jonesy, the main protagonist of the entire franchise, who is just as uninteresting as a 2024 game character. Jonesy is best friends with his banana. One day Peely goes missing and Jonesy goes on a quest to find him. His search leads him to a bunker where he partakes in a smoothie sitting on a table, only to find that Peely was that smoothie. after coming to the realization that he drank his best friend, Jonesy becomes Vengeance! An edgy version of himself sworn to take revenge on the mastermind behind his seafood diet.
He goes home and barely knows his own daughter.
I get that this is supposed to be funny because it's stupid, but now that Fortnite has become an amalgamation of who cares, the narrative almost feels insulting to developers who passionately hide secrets in games, as well as the players who love to find them.
Why are we doing skits instead of the other Ginges?
I broke the Force Sword.
The extra modes are also nothing special. Festival is just a ripoff of every Guitar Hero clone, but now you have to pay for the songs. Ballistic is just a blatant ripoff of Counter-Strike that doesn't offer any unique gameplay. Lego Fortnite is a lazy survivor game. The developers couldn't even be bothered to build the world out of Legos. Rocket Race is pretty unique, but Epic still felt the need to reference Rocket League to draw an audience. And finally, because the map, gameplay, and tools in Battle Royale are always changing, the game lacks an identity, and therefore will never be anything more than an endless fad. But none of that comes close to Fortnite's biggest issue, being a terrible influence on the industry. Other companies have seen the success of Fortnite's scummy business practices and have incorporated them into their own games, while searching for additional ways to scam players out of their money. Call of Duty is a good example of this. The franchise has added cameo characters, microtransactions, battle passes, and you still have to pay $60 to download the game! COD's newest game, Black Ops 6, is also forcing players to pay an additional fee for better sound quality. It's only a matter of time before we're forced to pay for better graphics, additional game modes, extra save files, and more options for custom characters. And it's so aggravating that this issue will never be fixed because kids don't know any better and normies outnumber real gamers by a significant margin. Individuals who have never experienced a real video game and don't understand why modern games are a problem. Some of you may try to argue that microtransactions are good for the industry because now players don't have to pay for downloadable content, but here's my rebuttal. Why were gamers willing to pay for DLC in the first place? Because the additional content was just as good or better than the core content. However, now that companies aren't locking DLC behind a paywall, the content doesn't have to live up to that which came before, and as such, all the content is half-assed because players won't say no to free content, even if it's garbage. It's sad that real gamers only make up a small fraction of the modern community, and as such, developers are going to prey on the ignorant because it makes them more money. If the majority of the entire community decided they would no longer waste their money on microtransactions, they would go away, and developers would have to bring quality back to their games. Fortnite may not have started the trend of microtransactions, but it revolutionized it. The developers don't care about their fans, they don't care about their community, and they don't even care about their own game. They only care about profit. That's why I hate Fortnite, and that's why it will never be a gem. Thank you all so much for watching, and keep on gaming. Dear Slim, I meant to write you sooner, but I've just been busy. What's this I hear about you wanting to be my Hello Kitty? Blue said that just messing, dog. He never married her. Man, stuff like that makes me not want us to meet each other. Listen, I'm really happy that you'd want a collab, and here's an autograph for your daughter. I wrote it on Luigi's cap. I'm sorry I didn't catch you at Costco. I must have missed you. Don't think I did all that intentionally just to diss you. You got some issues, Slim. I think you need some counseling to keep your butt from peeking through my windows while I'm working. I really think you and your rap songs need each other. Or at least don't give them up for me, brother. I hope you get to read this letter. I just hope it reaches you in time before you hurt yourself. I think you'll be doing just fine if you relax a little. I'm glad I inspire you, but Slim, why are you so mad? Try to understand that I do want you as a fan. Just don't do something crazy like a nitwit. I saw this one clip on the news a couple weeks ago that made me sick. Some guy got drunk and sold his soul to Fortnite. I guess he packed up everything and left his family in a night. Said he was an artist or a rapper. Well, someone I never knew. Come to think about it, his name was you. Man.